used to sleep through notes in class. I'd wink my eye and laugh. Those days went by so fast.
Yes, my people. So this week we have a rising star. I'll do the disclaimer now. This is my nephew. He'll introduce himself shortly. Well, this young man is at the cusp of becoming a rising star. His drive and passion has accelerated. He's been documenting his journey, and his journey is now taking him to a new chapter, which we'll discuss later down in the episode, because he is making moves and I like the progress. So without going any further into it, I want to introduce the one and only Abs, the goalkeeper.
Yo people.
Yes.
We're
We're here, man. This interview has been a long time coming.
Yeah, I've been asking him to get interviewed on man. He's like, listen, I will. I'm trying to follow him for time. I'm joking, but yeah, man, it's been a long time.
It's been a lot, and I will allow you because I know how busy you are. This man travels a lot and he trains hard. And it was about 3 days ago now, I made the phone call. Something came into me and I don't know why, and I said I need to phone him and set this interview up. And the news he gave me filled me with joy. But we'll talk about this later on in the episode. For those that don't know you, describe yourself.
I'm just a hard
And don't,
worker.
before you start, right, don't undercut yourself as well.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay humble with it though. I'm just a hard-working young man. That's got a dream, and I believe that with some hard work and some smart work, I'm gonna get there.
So, I want to start at the beginning, because these discussions, this podcast is all about talking about an individual's journey and how they navigated through this thing we call life, the ups and downs, and how you're able to persevere through the challenges that may face you. So, talk to me about your start in terms of the football journey. What inspired you? Why did you get involved in football?
Do you know what it was? Like, I remember trying to stay on topic. Like, listen, as a child, I used to love, buses, tractors, cars, that kind of stuff. So, I didn't come out the womb and just was all about football, I didn't have any, influences around me that, like bigger brothers or, my dad playing football, no one was really interested in it. But I'd just say, when I went to school, obviously at break time and that's what everyone used to do. And me being, I've always been athletic all the time, so I just kind of found that I wasn't good at football, but I was good at all sports. And football I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I started to understand the game, watching it from 4 or 5, and then I just fell in love with the game really.
So you would have done school teams and...
Nah, that. And not until I went to secondary school, I was part of the secondary school team, but my primary school didn't have a team, so
yeah,
I didn't join my first team until it was a grassroots team, so Handsworth United, until I was 9 years of age. So yeah, I didn't join a team till then.
And let's talk about the grassroots, because I hear a lot about grassroots football and investing in grassroots football. What's your experience of grassroots football?
What it is, grassroots, it's just raw, there's no egos or anything like that, it's just very raw. And playing for Handsworth United, it was a crazy experience, because we were an inner city team. Obviously there was a few white lads, but it was mainly black and Asian, and I must say it was a tad bit ghetto,
Yeah.
But we're playing against teams that are all predominantly white or all white. We're traveling to areas that that we're not used to, so you come up against weird things, and experience some crazy stuff. Other managers trying to rile up our coaches.
Yeah.
And then saying our coaches are being aggressive, saying, that we're being too aggressive when we're playing.
Yes.
Maybe because he was a bit stronger and faster, and just little things that at the time I didn't realise it. I wasn't looking at it like that, but
yes,
looking back now, I was like, whoa, like that's kind of mad, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, the grassroots was good. As I said, it's just raw, a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
It was just fun. That was the main thing at that age, just enjoying football, playing with a smile on your face.
And what age group was that? How old would you have been playing Handsworth United?
So I was under 10, so I was 9, turning 10.
So that age, right, you're just having fun with the game, just experiencing, travelling around to different areas, and you're experiencing some of the things that at the time you wouldn't have really understood what was going on.
Yeah.
What position were you playing then?
As a striker, man.
Striker?
Top striker, me.
How are you the top striker?
Top striker, Listen, I think I played 4 or 5 games and I scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
Hold on to that record forever.
Okay.
But, yeah, man. Listen, when I started playing football, you watch Match of the Day at home, and
yeah,
listen, I wanted to emulate, Wayne. I was a big Wayne Rooney fan, so I wanted to emulate him. Scoring goals, running up and down the place, and like no one goes into football thinking, I want to be a centre back or a goalkeeper or a midfielder. Everyone wants to be the star man, so striker or winger.
Yeah.
So it started.
So how did you start gravitating towards goalkeeping? When was that transition?
So in my first season, so under 10s, I remember we had a goalkeeper for our team. But listen, I'd play, just to be on the football pitch, I'd play anyway, because I loved football. And I remember one Sunday, it was cold and it was wet, and I'd been taken off the pitch.
Yeah.
And our goalkeeper was in goal, obviously he was 10, he was crying, he wanted to come out, didn't want to play no more. And the manager's looking on the bench, and I'm just like, listen, I'll go and play in goal. No gloves, no nothing, but listen, I'll do it. I just want to take back on the pitch. And then I went in goal, and I did well, man. I did well, because I'm really athletic.
Yes.
So obviously after that, like, it was come on hit and miss. Some weeks I'd go in goal, some weeks I wouldn't. Then I had a year out of football, and then I come back, and I got told I was going in goal, and I kind of just went with it. Like, I didn't enjoy it at first, but over time I fell in love with the position, man.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the position.
When did you start taking it a little bit more serious, or did you get scouted, or was people noticing your talent, and
so
where did the journey take you?
Obviously the coach at the club told me that listen, you can be a really good goalkeeper kind of thing, because I was tall, athletic. And then one evening, what happened is, obviously as a grassroots club, you have different links with different clubs, professional clubs. So the Handsworth United had a link with West Brom and had a link with Aston Villa. So what happened is they took 2 age groups, mine included, down to Bodymore Heath, Aston Villa training ground. So I was 12 at the time. Took us down there, and we did like a training session with the academy coaches. None of their players, was their coaches, and just went through some drills, had a bit of fun, great facilities. That was the first time I'd seen like a first team training ground and academy training ground. It was, mind blowing at the time, but we did that. And then I remember afterwards my coach saying to my mum, like, listen, Aston Villa like him. And in the back of my mind, I was like, wow, like, I could actually be a footballer, because obviously growing up, that's what you dream of. So I'm like, yo, this could actually happen. Then I got told that I can't go to Aston Villa though, because they have to give West Brom first refusal, basically mean I have to go to West Brom first to see if they want to sign me. If they don't, then I can go to Aston Villa. But,
is that because of the link they had with the club?
Yeah, because it's just a tiny bit of football politics, a bit of politics, but yeah. But then nothing ever happened. I never went to Aston Villa, and then at that point I never went to West Brom. But at that point, like, yeah, football started to get a tiny bit seriously, but I wouldn't probably portray that. I'd watch football all the time, play it in the park with my friends at school, and obviously with my grassroots club. But I don't think at that age I didn't have like a work ethic or anything like that. It's just relying on my natural talent. But then I went through the age groups, and then we got to under 14s, and what happened is Handsworth United folded. And like a lot of the coaches and players went over to another inner city grassroots team called Continental Star.
Did you go over to there as well?
Yeah. So went over there. It was pretty much the same, same setup. Inner city club, predominantly black and Asian. And then so at this point, I'm in my under 14 season from 13. And then played a few games, and then we got to October, so my birthday month. I'll never forget this because it happened on my birthday. So the week before my birthday, there was a West Brom scout at our game. We got beat 3-1 in that game. I'll never forget the score. We all knew the West Brom scout was there because our manager told us. And then I remember I was nagging my manager, like, is he interested in anyone? My manager wasn't letting off anything. Then the following week, which was my birthday, so on a Sunday, he was there again, the West Brom scout. So, you know, I was going through the game and I had that in the back of my mind. Like, listen, there's a West Brom scout here, you know, kitted out in your full West Brom tracksuit. So, you know, we stood out. But then after the game, me and my teammate got told that he's interested in us.
Yeah.
And that we're going to go and train with the development centre. It basically prepares you for an academy. So the jump between grassroots and academy standard is, you know, it's a big jump. And not many players can just go straight from grassroots straight into an academy.
Yeah.
I think at the age of like 9, 10, the jump's not that big, but the older you get, the more you fall behind and the coaching you get at an academy. So yeah, the development's there. So I was trying to basically bridge the gap. So I was happy with that. And I thought, you know what, if I go there and do well, then I'll get an academy trial. So I remember the day came, it was Tuesday, so 2 days after my birthday. I remember leaving school. We were meant to be meeting at a certain point. Me, my mum, my manager, and the other, my teammate's mum and my teammate. So I left school and I thought, you know what, I need to go and get some new gloves from town. You know, with a birthday money, and I was gassed, I was happy.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I remember looking around town for goalkeeping gloves, couldn't find any. And then at this point, I realised, oh, I'm going to be late. Then I remember I got to the meeting point. Obviously on the way, my mum's phoning me, the manager's phoning me, everyone's moaning. Then I eventually got there, and then I thought like I missed out. I thought I messed up because my teammate and his mum they weren't there. So I remember asking the manager, oh, where's such and such? And he wasn't giving off, he wasn't letting off. So then I got in my manager's car, and my mum was following behind, and we're driving. And then my manager's like, yo, what's going on, man? Like, how come you're late and that? Like, it's a big opportunity, you know, blah, 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 blah. And trying to explain that. I tried to get my gloves and that. And then we're driving, and then we get to the side of the Hawthorns. So the West Brom Albion first team stadium. Then I was like, oh, this is where the development centre trains. And my manager looked at me and he's just like, you're going to try with the academy. So then I was like, oh, like, I didn't know, like, it's just kind of a shock. Like.
So you skipped bypass the development centre and straight to train with the academy?
What the plan was that initially, but obviously between Sunday and obviously the day was meant to train, they decided this one was going to want to give him a trial. So then, got to there, and then I think the day, like, I remember getting out the car, my manager standing next to me, like, how tall are you? And all this, and then we walked into the dome, me, my mum, and my manager, and I think at that moment, that's when I knew, listen, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I have to play football. Like, there's no ifs, buts, mate. This is it, you know, because, you know, I told you I've been to Aston Villa before, great facilities, West Brom's Academy, great facilities, but this time I'm seeing players, you know, we went 12s, 13s, 14s, all under one roof at the same time, and then you had the keepers at the top, and I was just looking, you know, all the proud parents looking on. And then everyone's kitted out in their West Brom training kit, and in my head I was just like, wow.
So you saw the dream starting to...
Yeah, that's when it really started. But also at the same time, this is when, now, growing up, I had a big ego. In my school, I was always been the fastest, the strongest, the best at everything. So in school, I had a big ego. But then I remember when I joined my grassroots team, the ego kind of went, because I'm around players that are like very similar to me. In terms of ability and athleticism, all these things, so I didn't really stand out that much anymore. So the ego went a bit. But now that when I went to West Brom, my ego everywhere else, it was just, I thought I was big time. You know, I thought I made it. You know, I thought I was that guy. Yeah. It's because I've gone to West Brom. You know, and that, I think that was kind of like my. Obviously, we're gonna get to it, but leading up, but that's gonna get that. It's gonna be my downfall. Yeah. My later teens. But yeah, man, that was where the dream really started for me.
So, and at that time, was there anyone in the club or anyone around you that was supporting you in terms of, because at the grassroots football, you had the ego and so forth. Well, sorry, at school, you had the ego. Grassroots football, it kind of like dented a little bit in terms of, because you had similar ability. But now you've gone to West Brom and you saw the facilities there and it's giving you another boost. Was there anyone around you talking in terms of trying to keep you grounded?
Yeah, my mum and my dad would try to, but like, listen.
At that age, you just...
I'm not listening.
Yeah.
I was gassed like, yo. I was just gassed, when I'll be honest.
Yeah. But any teenager that age, anyone that age, you've gone to train at an academy, West Brom, you're seeing the players there, you naturally will start getting gassed.
Yeah, but... You know, the thing is, for me, I think all throughout my career, but we're going to take away the last year then, or the last 2 years, because I've grown out of it now, I'm a different person and player. But all throughout my career up until, I was like, let's say from 14 to the age of 19, 20, that ego has been my biggest killer, because your ego kills your work ethic.
Yeah.
Because you think you're a certain ability when really ability is not enough. Ability probably gets you the spotlight on you, or gets you the opportunity, or gets your foot in the door, but it's not going to get you through the door.
Yes.
It's not gonna make you're not gonna make it off ability. It's all the other things. Growing up, I didn't realize it. I've only just got a grasp of that. In fact, I'm still getting a grasp of that. Like, because it's easy for me to say, yeah, I'm gonna put in the work and do this and do that, but then there's actually doing it.
So, what's a typical training regime at the academy? So, what does it look like for anyone listening, or any aspiring footballer that's doing that transition from grassroots to academy? What is a typical training set, or what's the difference between the academy and grassroots?
So for starters, obviously your facilities are much better. The boards you're using, the pitches you're going to be on, your surroundings, obviously that's a lot better at an academy. Or the standard of the players that you're going to be around, at grassroots you're going to have different abilities. You could have one really, really good player, and then, a really, really not so good player.
Okay.
But at an academy, even though there's players that stand out, there's always that base level. So let's say everyone at an academy is at least a 7 out of 10, whereas you might have that 9 or 10 out of 10 player, whereas at grassroots you can have a 10 out of 10, a 2 out of 10.
Yes.
So there's a more fluctuation in terms of ability. But another thing as well is the standard of coaching. You're working with guys that have produced, the stars that are playing on telly, when they were
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, man. So you're working with, man, that's where it all counts, because the training you do at academies at the ages of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, you do it when you get to first team level, but it's just probably a bit more advanced or quicker. But I've done drills that I do at first team that, I've done this when I was 14, 15. I know this drill.
Yeah.
Obviously there's different adaptations of it, but it's more or less the same stuff. So you're just being drilled for what you're gonna hopefully go into when you get older. So there's that. Yeah, man. Obviously there's I think those are obvious differences really, but I think the biggest one, which is I think the hardest, and it's harder for a lot of kids coming out of an inner city club, is the attitude that you have to have when you're in that environment, the way you have to carry yourself. One thing I think one of the most important things I got taught when I was at West Brom was nothing to do on the football pitch. It was off it. So you just stood at the door of an academy, training session, and you watch every player come and you watch them leave. You'd see them do one thing, and that's go up to every coach, whether that coach is coaching your age group or another age group, and shake their hands.
Oh, okay.
And that's one thing I learned. It's just kind of like basic manners and respect kind of thing. So get there, shake the coach's hand.
Yeah.
And then obviously you train whatever, and then you leave and you shake the coach's hand. Everywhere I go now, I naturally do that. It holds you in good stead, because if you go there and you might not even realise it, you go somewhere like a football club or whatever, and you don't do that.
Yeah.
Then that could be the difference between them thinking, what, I don't like his attitude.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, we don't want him. Don't care how good he is, kind of thing.
It's similar to having how would you call it, like football etiquette?
Yeah. In
terms of like grassroots, you may not carry yourself in, you just like grassroots football really, and your attitude, you're in the inner city, the culture of the inner city community, so you just carry yourself similar to what your surroundings are. But now you've gone into an academy, you maybe have to carry yourself a little bit differently in terms of how you, as you said, shaking the hand of the coaches, and how you greet some of the other players.
Yeah, it was like school in a sense, because at school you're talking and the teacher's explaining something. You're gonna miss what the teacher says, and then you're behind. You don't know what you're doing with the work.
Yeah.
At an academy, like you can't do that. The coach is speaking, everyone's listening, everyone's locked in. Because if you're speaking and you miss something, you're gonna look like a bad player. Whereas at grassroots level, it's a lot about crowd control. Everyone's talking, people are messing about, play fighting. None of these it's nipped in the bud quickly. At an academy, so it's about on the pitch as well, but it's about off the pitch as well. It's a massive difference.
And I suppose at the time when you was going through, you wouldn't realise that the drills that you were doing at that age, and some of the mannerisms that were being instilled in you, are things that you will need when you go to more senior level. And I'll give you an example. I don't want to go into it just yet, but I noticed on one of your episodes on YouTube, you was training with a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And when I watched that episode, I noticed that goalkeeper was talking to you, right, but he was fully locked into what he was saying. And then as soon as you started the drill, you started doing exactly what he was telling you to do. And every time he stopped and spoke to you, your full attention was on that goalkeeper. Would you say some of those things were things that was instilled in you from the academy age that you've just naturally started to implement in the game? Now you're starting to take it more seriously?
To a certain extent, yeah. Obviously, going into the academy, like, I was so raw. Like, I think if it was an outfielder, I wouldn't have been as raw. But being a goalkeeper, it's such a technical position.
Yes.
You know, obviously, you have a specific coach for that position. You know, so it's such a technical position. People don't really understand it sometimes. But like, so I had a lot of information thrown at me, having no keeping coach before. Loads of stuff, you know, about my shape, about my set position, everything, all this thrown at me, and I was trying to take it on board, you know, because I'm usually a quick learner, you know, but I didn't quite grasp it back then, you know, but I definitely think as I've grown, that's helped me, because now I can show me something, and I'll be able to do it like that in most scenarios, as you said with the video, man, so it's sort of helped, and yeah.
So now you're at West Brom Academy. How long were you there?
So I was there for 2 periods. So obviously from when I was 14, so I was there from October till January.
Yeah.
And then did I go for the rest of that season? I think I went back into grassroots. And then I spent some time at Stoke, I think, at the start of next season. And then for the majority of my under 15 season,
yes,
I was spent at West Brom.
Yeah.
And then at the end of my under 15 season, that's when I left. That was my last time at West Brom.
Yeah.
And then going into under 16s, then that was a weird season because that's scholarship age.
Okay.
So, you know, when you leave, so from the age of 10 to 16, class as a schoolboy when you sign for an academy, you go to an academy. And then after 16, from 16 to 18, scholarship. And then obviously from the age of 17, you can sign your professional contract. So I played up an age group. So my under 16 season started up an age group, so I was playing in a league called the Midlands Floodlit League. I was playing for a non-league team called Leamington. I was playing for the under 18s, so I was playing a year ago, basically.
Yeah. Is that a level up from academy? So you're moving from it, or is it the same level as academy football?
So in terms of the level, it's lower than academy football. But in terms of it, for me, it was good because I'm not playing my old age group. I'm playing with boys that are just turning into men, then, you know, so playing against, at the age of 15, 16, I'm playing against people that are 16, 17, 18. So it's a lower level than academy, but it was a step up for me, in a sense, physically, definitely. You know, and different things were expected of me. But yeah, but that season was a crazy season. It was a weird season for me because I think it was around halfway through the season when you're on the 16 academy, you get told whether you're getting a scholarship or not. So it's a bit hectic.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously I wasn't at an academy at that point, but the clubs were, so come November, December, clubs releasing players and they're looking for players that they're going to give their scholarship to. You know, scholarship's a big thing because this is where clubs will pay you for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a lot, it's just like an apprenticeship wage, but you know, it's still serious and you go in full time as well.
Is this the time where you were still playing for Leamington?
Yeah. So I got an opportunity to go to Walsall.
Yeah.
You know, and at this point, this is my toughest experience at the time. It's the toughest experience in football ever. So yeah, I got an opportunity to go to Walsall. Coach invited me down for a trial game. We're playing against Accrington Stanley. So it was me and another goalkeeper who just been released from Wolves. He played the first half. I played the second half. Neither of us had anything to do. It was a pretty just dull game. He invited me back and said, "Listen, we got a youth team game on Tuesday night. You know, I'm gonna give you some minutes then, so I can, you know, see what you got." The first thing was that this keeper he wasn't just like when he was, so we're both on trial, but I didn't train with Warsaw, you know. I literally came and played that game on Sunday and then came back on a Tuesday. This keeper was training with them as well, you know, so that's another thing I realised. But at the age of 15, 16, I'm not saying nothing, you know, he just realised that and was like, "Raw, okay." So I remember the Tuesday night I went down to Warsaw. They had a 3G pitch next to their stadium. Warmed up, found out I was on the bench for the first half, but I assumed they were coming on second half like I did on Sunday. So watching the game, and then half time comes, and then the goalie coach takes me and do my warm up. taking volleys to my face, whatever. Then he's, was talking me through, like, don't be nervous, just go out and enjoy it. Saying the usual what a coach would say to you. So I remember I take off my warm-up top, got my kit on underneath, and I'm ready to go on. And then the other keeper comes up to me and was like, oh, he hasn't changed it. And he seems shocked himself that he was like, oh, okay. Then I took the goalkeeping coach, and then he kind of just looked at me, and that was it. So put my warm-up stuff back on, sat back on the bench, So thinking, probably going to give me like half an hour then. And the game's going on and on and on. And I didn't realise, whoa, he's actually not going to put me on. He hadn't told me to warm up or anything. And then at this point now, the keeper that was playing, he started he was doing really well, making saves, this save, that save, and then I remember he saved the penalty. And then another thing I noticed was I could see the first team goalkeeper coach, he's really tall, and I could see him watching in the far corner. So then I was itching to get on now because I'm like, well, if I wanted to impress anyone tonight, it would be him. So still not coming on. And I remember I sat the whole game on the bench, when I was gutted. And there was a small part of me that hoped, maybe there's going to be another opportunity, another game coming up, and he wants to see me then. And then, so we all go in the change rooms, get changed. And then, because of where we was playing, so we played on the 3G next to the first team stadium. We was getting changed in the first team dressing rooms. And opposite that is the first team manager's office. So obviously the first team goalkeeping coach, the academy coach, and obviously the goalkeeper that played and his dad, I could actually hear them offering him a scholarship.
Oh, at the time?
Yeah, so I could hear like, congratulations, hopefully we see you in our first team soon. And that's not me just standing next to the door, ears dropping. Like, I was in the change room, I could hear that. So I was waiting for a lift home at the time, and I remember, the academy coach came out, and it's kind of shocked to see that I was still there. And then all he said to me was that, sorry, you can't have nothing. There was no sit down and talk, and it was this, it was that. And it was disappointing because, I didn't really get a chance to show what I could do or anything. And I remember that's the first time I cried from football.
Yeah.
It was a sad moment. But then moving on, I think it was like February times, got the chance to go to Birmingham City.
Yeah.
Obviously I was playing up, as I said, I went back to, I didn't leave Leamington. I was still playing with them when I went and tried at Walsall or whatever.
But how did you feel going back to Leamington? Now that opportunity, you've heard someone being offered their scholarship. You didn't get an opportunity to not even show your ability. What was it like going back now to Leamington, knowing that opportunity's gone there? You're feeling all emotional. What was it like going back to Leamington?
No, I didn't have a problem going back to Leamington. In terms of the opportunity itself at Walsall, I was just gutted because I looked at it like this. If I can't get into Walsall, because Walsall is like a Cat 3 academy, which is like I think the lowest grade of the academy goes down is the Cat 4. So it's a really low academy.
Yeah.
So I was like to myself, if we can't get into Walsall then, how am I going to make it as a footballer?
Mm.
That's what I was half thinking back in my head. Yeah, that's about, I kind of picked myself up quickly.
Yeah.
And then, around February maybe, these times as well, I'm in last year of school, so GCSEs, my mum's on my case now.
Yeah.
Yeah, GT,
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Militant. So you gotta get that GCSEs done.
So yeah, I'm thinking about football and I'm thinking about my GCSEs, and obviously now at this point, football is kind of having to take a back seat. But I remember, it was around February time, I got the opportunity to try for Birmingham City, and then they decided, then I got signed, but then football stopped. So because of your GCSEs and whatever, it was just, there was no football, and it's just focused on that. And then I remember, then I left school, in your last year of school, you leave, usually your term finishes in July then. In your last year of school, you more or less leave in May. In June, there's 1 or 2 exams you have to go in for, but it's basically on study leave. So basically, left school in May, June, and then started at Birmingham City full time in July.
So now we're at Blues, Birmingham City, and things didn't work out for you.
Yeah, so it didn't go to plan, obviously, how I thought it was going to be or how it should have went, but everything's a learning curve, and then my next step after that took me into non-league, where everything's now obviously Blues is full time.
Yeah.
Non-league's part time.
And with non-league, right, do you still have the setup is it a big change, a big cultural change going into non-league from what's the difference?
Massive. Listen, your facilities, your level of coaching, other people's commitment to it. this isn't people's main thing no more. This is people's part-time job, you know, their little top-up money. So to a certain extent, it's still serious, but to a certain extent, it's not. People are coming in from their long days at work, doing warehouses or sitting in an office, straight from work to train, you know, whereas me being young, I've probably been sitting at home all day, waiting and gagging for training to start, you know, so I come in fresh, they come in sluggish. Yeah. You know, I'm playing with grown men now, whereas before I was playing with, you know, people my age. I'm playing with big grown men, you know, so you know, at this point I remember I got my first job outside of football, and then...
And how old was you at?
17.
Yeah.
17, turning 18, so yeah, man. But it was, on the flip side, you know, dropping into non-league was kind of nice as well, because, you know, like I got to experience like proper crowds for the first time, you know, like playing in front of like 200-300 people, whereas when you're at an academy, it's just, you know, parents watching, and so it's probably, I say like 100 people max, really. That's the most people I've probably played in front of at that point. So going into non-league, playing in front of like maybe 200-300, depending on the team, it could be a bit more. So I went to a team called Romulus. It was like their first team.
Where's that based?
Erdington, Sutton Coldfield.
Oh, okay.
Sutton Coldfield, Erdington.
It's a local team.
Local. So yeah, man. I went with their first team, and then at the end of that season, I was kind of stuck. Wasn't sure, you know, about what to do next. And then I went to Solihull Moors, you know, which it was a good setup, because what had happened is they'd just got promoted. Their first team did. So what happened is underneath the first team, they had like an under-23 squad, and they named it Moors Academy. Basically, what happened is they made it like full-time. So we was going to college, we're training in the afternoon after college, and then we play games against, you know, men's teams in the region on a Saturday, you know, with a view to getting into the first team and getting paid and whatnot. Yes. But at this point now, with like players that have just been released from academy, so it's a good standard, you know, good level of players. And we had an actual academy coach coaching us, you know, as our manager. Yeah. So then, you know, it was a good standard, good level. But I'm at this age now where 17, 18, full of testosterone, you know, and I'm at the age as well where now things that I'm doing away from football are affecting football, you know, so how I'm behaving in college and whatnot, it's affecting football, and it's another situation where, you know, it didn't work out.
Yeah. And I want to ask you a question, right? Do you feel that you're getting further and further away from your dream? Because you were at the academy and you walked into the academy for the first time, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I've had a slight taste of it, but now it's like you're walking away from your dream.
You know what it is? Like, the younger you are, like, the more and more it's about natural ability. Like, every year you get older, it becomes less about natural ability, because the playing field becomes more level. Meaning, for example, at 10, you know, someone could be a more developed 10-year-old than another 10-year-old, so it's going to be faster, stronger, whatever. So you're going to stand out, so you may attract attention. You know, but if you don't work hard on your technical ability, which as a 10-year-old, you're not going to think about that, because you're just thinking, you know, you stand out. What's going to happen is in 3-4 years' time, people catch up to you.
Yeah.
Then they go past you. So that's you know what happened to me, kind of. So I had this attitude, like at 14, even when I was 12, when I got invited back by Aston Villa, like, yo, I'm a good player. Like, it would just happen for me.
Yes.
You know, it would just come. That's how I just had it in my head. But I wasn't putting in no work. I was eating rubbish. My diet was awful. Like, I was so lethargic. And listen, my ego was at an all-time high at this point.
Yeah.
All-time high. You know, it's just a lot of male bravado as well. So, yeah, so I'm 18 at this point, just left Solihull Moors, and now, like, I'm half thinking, like, why do things keep going wrong? You know, I've messed up again. You know, I can't blame anyone else, it's me again.
Yeah.
So then at this point, I go into Tamworth. Yeah, I go into Tamworth. I go into the under-21s. And obviously, in the back of my mind, I had it, listen, I want to get into their first team, that's the goal. If I can get into their first team at the age of, you know, 18, 19, you know, that's a massive thing. And, you know, all eyes are going to be on me. You know, a big opportunity can come. At the time, the first team was like 2 levels below the Football League. So, as I said, it would have been a good thing for me to play for them. But, yeah, went into the 21s. I did well. And then, within like 2 weeks of me being at Tamworth, I was training with the first team, which was good. So the 21s signed me. And then what happened is I started to play games for the 21s. But because for so long, I haven't been putting my mind to football, and I've just been relying on this natural ability now. Now I'm playing with really good players. I'm playing with men. I'm playing with guys more physically developed than me. So what's happened is people have caught up and gone past me. And even though I'm still a good player, but I haven't got all the pieces to my jigsaw. And I'm playing on the 21s football for Tamworth, and I'm sort of struggling. And I'm also struggling mentally, because in my mind, I know I haven't prepared. So right now, going into games, my anxiety was through the roof at that point.
Yeah.
I was so nervous and panicky and making silly mistakes, And, that season was a really roller coaster of a season. I was in a good team, but I made so many mistakes. Even to the last game of the season, we had a cup final with the 21s, and the winning penalty that the team scored in the penalty shootout, it was a mistake. And that kind of summed up my season. So at this point now, I'm 19. We're coming into 2018. Yeah, I'm 19. At this point now, I'm really struggling to get a club because I haven't played a lot of men's football. I don't have a built-up non-league CV. And as I said, I'm not built physically. I still wasn't training or eating how I was meant to be. So I just went through like a couple of seasons of just, tough times. And then I reached the age of 20.
And I suppose at that age now, you're coming on to your 20s now, leaving your teens, your 19s and so forth, and you're now 20. And I can imagine, because it happens in all sports, where people around you would say, it's getting too late.
Yeah, listen.
Did you have those conversations?
Definitely, 100%. So I think friends wouldn't say that to me because, I don't know why they just wouldn't. But definitely my family, not in a bad way, but like, they're just gonna be real how they see it from their perspective, But my family were just obviously growing up very supportive, and then now it's just a case of, Abidan, you keep messing up now. They say like you might not have messed up there, but it's not working for you,
Did you think it yourself as well? Because if you look at it, a lot of like football stars, they're young. There's young players that are in the Premiership and so forth. So if you're hearing this around you, you'd have thought it yourself as well to a certain extent. Yeah.
So and another thing as well, like players now that I've played with at West Brom, played with at Solihull Moors and so on. Now they're starting to go clear now, sign for big clubs, playing on TV, playing in front of thousands of people, and I'm like, whoa.
How did that make you feel?
Yeah, listen, I'm not a jealous person, so it's not a case of I wish that was me, because none of them are goalkeepers, but it was a case of they can do that I can, but you're not putting in the work, So listen, I've always known what I needed to do, but it's never translated into the physical, But yeah, as I said, that period, it was a tough period, and remember I'm still working, so at this point my turnover of jobs is ridiculous, I'm just going from job to job because I'm trying to find a job where I can, work in a day and have enough time to go football in the evenings.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, listen, as a pro, you train five times a week. In non-league, listen, you train twice a week. You have to train twice a week for 2 hours with your team, but probably like twice a week for an hour. Because of how non-league is. People turning up late and different circumstances. But yeah.
So your training regime took a dramatic dip.
Like dramatic, like I more or less probably wasn't even really playing football like that. Really, I was just and then little things like your gym, which obviously going into men's football now, neither wasn't doing. All these things, my diet, as I said before, all these things. But then, an important thing that I will say is as well, and I missed it. When I turned 18, obviously a lot changed for me because now I can start going out clubbing.
Yeah.
Can start going out clubbing. So I knew boys who are a bit older than me who played football and come and sit in the booth and you go out clubbing and you see the girls and he's got loads of money and money attracts girls and bottles attract girls, and now I'm forgetting why I wanted to start playing football.
Yeah.
Now my focus is I'm falling in love with the wrong side of the game, so I'm falling in love with the lifestyle of football.
Yeah.
Which was like really, really bad. because it made sense why I wasn't putting in the work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because my motivations were, all over the place.
I want to take you somewhere with this journey because it's interesting you say that. And I want to take you somewhere in terms of role models. Jay sent me something, right, an article, and sent me some information as well that he's been doing some research. I don't know what's got into him. He's been busy for some reason. But it shocked me. It shocked me, and it's around goalkeepers, and you couldn't really find a high percentage of black goalkeepers that play, there's probably loads at, grassroots level and so forth, but we just looked specifically at like Premiership level and League One, League Two and so forth. And previously we found there was 6. That's just from we could be wrong, but that's what we could find at the time.
Probably right.
But currently there's 4 at Premiership level and 1 at League Two, which is someone I think Malvin, at League Two. So you going through this period now in terms of you're working, you're doing different jobs that you're not fully interested in working because your passion is in football.
Yeah.
You've had these ups and downs in football and your dreams moving further away from you. But then you've got friends that have progressed in the football and they're saying, come Abs, come and party with us.
Yeah.
But because I think from one of the articles that we read is that there's a underrepresentation of black goalkeepers at our kind of like elite high level.
100%.
Do you think that may have had a little bit of impact because now the role models that you're looking at, you're a goalkeeper, so you're not seeing goalkeepers that are similar to you. So there's not really much people to aspire to.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. Obviously, listen, you said there's 6 right now, but in reality, there's probably 1 playing at elite level because there's those over 6. They're probably part of the squad, but they're not playing. I couldn't tell you them 6. I could tell you 1.
Yeah.
The Chelsea keeper, Mendy. So he's playing week in, week out. But the rest of them, black goalkeepers are a rarity. They're a rarity. And there's a stigma, stuck to black goalkeepers that, black goalkeepers are dopey.
Yeah.
If we look back over the years from when I've been watching football, Shaka Hislop and David James are the only 2 I can remember. Tim Howard's another one. But in terms of, but if you look at English black goalkeepers, I could only think of David James, that one sticks out to me. But yeah, definitely, growing up, I'm looking up and there's no one to say, oh yeah, he looks like me, I can be like him kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that is difficult, 100%. And then also, you look at it and I remember growing up and someone mentioned it to me, about the lack of black goalkeepers, and before that I hadn't realised. But then when it was mentioned to me, I realised and I was like, wait there, hold on, there's actually not, there's no black goalkeepers at elite level, like what's going on? And then you think, if there's none now, like, how am I going to make it? You know what I mean? How am I going to get there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you told me that story about where you were at, was it Tamworth? Was it Tamworth where you were, the scholarship time? Walsall.
Yeah.
And when you told me about that story, it just brought back that article that Jay sent to me. And there's a thing in that article around unconscious bias. And it goes back to what you were saying in terms of there's this stigma around, black goalkeepers. Historically, there was stigma around black players, like, way, way back.
Yeah.
That's, I think that's died out a little bit now.
No, I think it's still there, with outfield players, as I said about me being an athlete then. So there's a stigma around, black players that they're not technically great, but they're fast and they're strong.
Yeah.
So, like, there's these stigmas, I think they still exist, but they're just not as obvious to the naked eye.
Yeah.
Only if you're in football, you really be able to see. And the thing is, when something's not obvious, you can't really speak up on it because you look like you're just making an excuse. So I'd never say, I haven't got signed there or there because I'm black.
Yeah.
That could be the case, and it's most likely is the case, but I'd never come out and say that because, it's kind of is an excuse, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that kind of like touches into in terms of, because you know now that you have to work that extra harder. You know, it can't just be your ability. You have to actually put the work in. And it's, although the journey's been up and down for you, I think that's happened for a reason, because it's setting you up for, you know now that your ability will not take you to where you want it to go without putting in the work.
Yeah, your ability is just for your foundations, man, but you got to put in all the other works to fill out the jigsaw, man. But definitely, like, the ups and downs of just, you know, I think mistakes are good. I remember seeing something that said, someone smart will learn from their own mistakes. So I'm smart because I've learned from my own mistakes, you know, but if it was wise, then I would have been learning from other people's mistakes, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I said, like, I'm glad everything happened that was happened, definitely, because, you know, I don't believe I was meant to just go through the system and just make it, you know, like that. It's easy. I was meant to go through these ups and downs so I can learn certain lessons, because I'm happy with the person and player I am now and where I believe I'm progressing to. I'm just happy in the path that I'm on, you know.
Yeah. So I want to fast forward now.
Yeah.
To your YouTube channel. Why?
You know, there's not one simple answer. You know, there's a few reasons. So I had someone in my family on at me to do it, you know, and then I'd spend quite a bit of time on YouTube just watching training videos of goalkeepers, and I come across a goalkeeper doing something similar to me, you know, and not in a rude way, but I thought, you know what, I think I'm better than him, you know. So imagine if I vlogged it and I was doing what he was doing, or not what he was doing because I'm not copying him, but, you know, similar things, the same kind of, you know, same kind of concept behind it, you know, just vlogging your journey, you know. That was one reason. Another reason is I want to inspire, like, the next, you know, or help inspire the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, I believe we'll get to a certain level. Like, even now, like, there's younger players, younger kids that, you know, message me and they've got their eyes on me. Like, my little cousins, you know, they watch my channel. If I'm at my grandma's and they're there, you know, they want to go outside and play football and copy everything I do, kind of thing. So, you know, like, I want to inspire the next generation of footballers, and I want people to know that, number one, that the road's not smooth. You know, a lot of the time we see celebrities, artists, footballers, influencers, you know, all these big people, and we just see them how they are now.
Yeah.
Rich, famous, living a lavish life and whatever. You know, and sometimes they might put out like a documentary or a movie, and they tell us how, you know, they got to where they got to, but, you know, we don't get to see the detail, we don't get to see where it really started. With me, I basically stripped everything back, you know, gone back to basics. I kind of fell off and gone back to the bottom, and I'm just showing my journey from the bottom. And I believe in my head that as long as I work hard consistently, you know, when I work smart consistently, then I will get to the top.
Yeah.
And if I don't get to the top, I'll get close to the top. And getting close to the top is still really, really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because I'll be honest, when I saw the first episode, I said to myself, okay, let me see where this is going. Because I've heard you in football, then not playing football, in football, and the ups and downs of your journey towards. My thing is, what is different now compared to back then?
You know what? It's just clicked in my head that, like, I'm not 16, 17 where I can make mistakes and it's going to be another chance and another chance and another chance. I know anything that comes up now may be my last chance at the age of 22. I know that, you know, it's simple for me. Listen, I've got this dream, and if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to get the results I want, and I'm going to get to where I want to get. You know, it's that simple. Yeah. You know, but it's also a case of, as well, yeah, it's staying there mentally, because I think in the past that's what's let me down big time. You know, because you see, once you tackle your mental side, your physical side, and put in the work, all that just comes so naturally and easily. Yeah. For example, some days, you know, you wake up and, you know, you can't be bothered. Yeah. You know, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how much you want something. There's gonna be days when you wake up and you can't be bothered, you can't be asked, you're tired, you're worn down. But those are the days then where your mental side kicks in. Because, you know, once you're mentally, listen, you gotta get up, you gotta do it. It's your dream, bro. In your head, and you're up and you're doing it. Like, you know, you've tackled something mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've seen, because just down to the way how you're articulating yourself now, and the conversations I've had with you over the phone and watching your channel, I've 100% seen a different person in terms of your work ethic, your work rate, the training sessions that you're doing. I've saw a complete turnaround. Is that you seem locked in, and you've said it on your channel that you're in the trenches now.
Yeah, man, we're in the trenches, man. You know what? I said that I watched like quite a bit of stuff on YouTube, you know, and one person I like watching on YouTube is Kobe Bryant. You know, he talks about this man mentality.
Yeah.
You know, and he was telling a story once about how he was a young kid, and he was awful at basketball. Then he got to 14 and he was still bad. And then that one summer, he was like 13, 14. And one summer, he practiced all summer. He used all his hours that were possible, all his time available, and focused on his craft. Then by the time he gets to high school, he's 18. He's the best player, you know, at his age, probably in the country.
Yeah.
He goes straight from high school to the NBA. This is out college. And when he gets to the NBA, he talks about all these weaknesses, what he had, and what he'd do to, and all it comes down to, he was just willing to put in the time and effort into his craft. And then, you know what, I just took that into my own life. I looked at it like this, listen, I know this and this is weak. So if I spend X amount of time on it, however much time needed, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket now, I'm just going for it. So yeah, man, like, because I don't want to get to a certain stage where I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And I have that regret, like, what even, I don't want that. If you know what, if I put in everything and it don't work out, then I'm content with that.
Yeah. And you've also said it's more about now the process, because I've heard that bandied around a few times, but it seems now that you're more focused on the process, and you know that if you continue on that journey and continue working on the process, the dream is the end result.
Yeah, so you know what, with Malvin, I didn't, obviously as you said before, I did an interview with Malvin Minter, he's at Harrogate Town now, and he said to me, you know, focus on the process, not the end goal. And I said to him, I'm gonna keep using that, because like it opened my mind and it made me look at things differently. For me, in any avenue in life, you know, the sky's the limit. There's no limit to what you can achieve. So within football, you look at Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He's someone that's perfect to look at, or even Kobe Bryant, but we'll go with Ronaldo because football. Like they focused on the process. So they knew they kept doing ABC, ABC, ABC. They're gonna get the result D, you know.
Yeah.
And they kept doing it, and they kept doing it, and they kept climbing, they kept climbing, they kept climbing. You know, I think when you focus on the end goal, you know, you're not focusing on how you get in there. So you're just looking at that end goal and it's so far away, like, but you're not making any progress. When you get your head down and, you know, you focus on the process, you know, I kind of trying to find an analogy, sprinters. So, you know, 100-meter race.
Yes.
Sprint coaches tell you, don't look to your left or to your right. You know, you need to focus on your technique, you know, the process of running. Because if you look to your left or to your right, you know, you're gonna lose your balance, you're gonna slow down on all these things. So it's I kind of look at it like that as well. That's a good way to look at it. You know, like a sprint race. You know, if you focus on all these other things, if you focus on trying to win the race, you know, when there's training, you slow down. But if it's all about technique and the process of how you're doing it, you know, you'll fly through. And that's how I just kind of see things now, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to focus on the craft and my training program and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that, how I'm going to improve this, how I'm going to improve that, you know, what I need to eat, what I can't eat, and, you know, all these things.
Yeah. Before we go on to the final bit, because there's something that I'm really interested in, and we've had many conversations about it, is agents and the importance of having an agent. So you have an agent now, haven't you?
Yeah.
What is the importance of having, do you need to have an agent, or?
Listen, you don't need to have an agent. There's no need or must for an agent. But what I can say is an agent can help. I've had good and bad experiences with agents, you know. Remember, I had an agent that a lot of agents like this to sell you a dream. Some players might pay them money, and then, you know, the agent never delivers on what they say they're going to deliver on.
Yeah.
For me, it's like this. If a player's hot and the agent's got a link,
yeah,
which agents should have links, you know, then the agent can help you. You know, but in my case, I got a new agent this summer just gone. But I wasn't hot, you know, so my agent was struggling. You know, so in that case, I didn't really need an agent because he can't do no more than I can do. Yeah. So it's a waste of his time and my time. At that point it was. But then, like I said, you know, if the player gets hot, you know, the player can't really phone up professional football clubs like, listen, you're going to give me a trial. You know, you need someone to do that for you. You know what I mean? So, this is where you having an agent will come into it, you know. And then if it gets to a stage where you offer the deal, you know, maybe an agent will be able to negotiate, you know, the right deal for you.
Yeah.
But it all depends, like, comes down to your relationship with the agent. Because for me, like, with my agent, it's more than just that, you know, business. You know, like he's like a friend then. You know, he's looking at my best interest, you know, first.
Yeah.
Whereas I could have another agent who was looking at me like a money maker machine, you know.
Oh, okay.
So, for prime example, let's say Man United and Man City wanted to sign me.
Yes.
You know, and I've just got this agent who sees me like a money maker. You know, let's say Man City offer me, let's say 50 grand a week.
Yeah.
You know, but they're saying, listen, he's not going to get much game time. At the age of 22, you know, I need games to improve and I'll just climb. You know, but that money-making agent's just going to look at that and think, yep, we'll take that deal and make me sign it, you know.
Oh, okay.
Encourage me to sign it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the right deal would be for me to just, you know, go somewhere where I'm going to play games, you know, and as long as I can survive the money, the more you progress, is the more you play games and get better, you know, the more money you'll get. You know, there's no rush, you know, I'm 22.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. And moving on now to the iconic phone call. Because I believe that when you speak to the universe speaks back. And you've been in the trenches, grafting doing your work.
Grafting. And
I think it's just coincidence that I called you at the right time. Because had it been I called you a couple of weeks later, I would have got some international dialing tone and uncle, I can't speak to you, I'm busy. So I think I called you at the right time.
Perfect time, man. God's timing is perfect, man.
Perfect timing, and this had to happen. So this is some hot off the press
exclusive
drop. So I just want you to talk me through the day when you got.
So listen, I wanna take it to like the couple of days before. So we got put into lockdown. Before lockdown. So before lockdown, I was working with a League One first team goalkeeping coach.
Yeah.
So the professional goalkeeping coach is working with. That's the level that, you know, I'm trying to get to, and higher than that. But that's the level initially where I'm trying to get to. You know. So you know, obviously that's on my channel. You can see me. He's improving me and whatnot. But I'm getting better. I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling sharp. We're about to go into another lockdown. You know. So what's gonna happen now? Because there's gonna be no football played in England at the level that I'm at now. You know, it's very unlikely that someone higher is gonna come in. You know, because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
No one's really gonna take a chance on free agents.
When you say free agents, what do you mean? Because I'm not in the football world. So when you say a free agent?
Free agent is someone who's unattached to a club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is not a club or professional club, should I say? But yeah, like I was worrying, you know, because I'm like, I've got this work, doing all this work in the trenches to get here, but then now all this time of football, even though I could still put in work and that, I'm still gonna drop a bit.
Yeah.
The way how I was feeling in terms of my confidence and my ability, I haven't felt like that since it was like 12, 13. You know, when I was flying and, you know, confident. But the difference this time is there's no ego there this time now. I'm still humble.
Yeah.
I believe in my ability. So I know I'm going to play a game of football now. I won't be nervous. Then I remember I messaged someone and said, you know, I got a good feeling, you know. Got a gut feeling. Something's about to happen to me. You know, something good's about to happen. You know, and I remember I was praying. And then I got a message on Instagram, you know, and I don't usually answer these messages, I swear, but for some reason, something told me, answer the message. Yeah,
because you take days to answer my messages as well. So I'm going to call you out on that one.
Oh, here we go. But yeah, man, this agent messaged me and he said to me that there's clubs, Norway, I think it's Latvia and Sweden, looking for goalkeepers. I know young goalkeepers. And obviously for a goalkeeper, I'm still a baby, you know. So I was listening, but number one, I've got an agent, so I'm contracted to an agency. And number two, a lot of times, you know, when you get random agents in your messages, it's hot air.
Oh, so is this someone, not your agent,
nah,
a different agent contact? Okay.
Yeah. So then he takes my number anyway. I give him my number, he asks for my number. And then he asked me if I'm representing. I goes, yeah. So then he asked for my agent's contact details. So then I asked my agent, it's like, this agent's come to me with this. He's like, yeah, give him my number, I'll have a chat with him. Then, you know, a day goes by, you know, and then the agent that messaged me on Instagram, so let's call him Agent A.
Yeah.
Agent A says to me that there's a club in the Swedish Championship, so it's called the Swedish Superettan, which is, equivalent to, prime example, Birmingham City in the Championship. Then it's equivalent to that.
Okay.
Obviously over in Sweden. There's a team in that league interested in you, but I'm still just taking it as hot air, because at this point, he told me to send him my profile, so my playing CV and footage of me playing, but he hasn't told me a club name or where in Sweden or anything. Then my actual agent phones me, so my agent and Agent A have spoke now.
Yeah.
And my agent saying, there's a club in the Swedish Championship interested. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? So at this point, I'm really laid back about it. I'm just like, I'm just gonna see what he says, because he hasn't told me a club name or anything else.
Yeah.
Then Agent A comes back to me and says that he's waiting for the club director to get back to him, and then he can let me know more. And then about 2 days go by, and then he tells me the club name, tells me that the club want to get me in on a certain day. So it's going to be a 10-day trial, and at the end of it, if they like me, it's going to be a 2-year professional contract.
Yeah.
That's going to be my first professional contract, so my eyes kind of lit up. And the big thing about this as well is they're not looking for me to go over and be a number one, which then raises the level that they are. They're looking for me to look for a young keeper to go over, and be a number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
If I have to go out on loan and get games, or just train hard, work hard, and push to number 1. So for me in my head, I'm like, whoa, this is kind of panning out to be the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
But then there's been obstacles. So then I was thinking, this might not be for me. I had to renew my passport because of this whole leaving the EU thing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get an emergency passport, and it was taking long to come. The passport office messed up, and then the club was like, I'm probably gonna have to leave it. So I'm like, no way. And then my passport came, and then I was meant to fly. Listen, you lucky I'm here now. I should be in Sweden. Yes, no one that. But listen, I was meant to leave Monday, and then on Sunday, the club told me 3 players are tested positive for COVID-19, so I've got to wait, a period of time before I can go out. So yeah, I'm just at the moment. It's like I'm like 99% sure that I'm still going. Hopefully, at some point this week, I'll fly to Sweden and then I'm gone.
And what does that mean for you in terms of the next step in your journey? So you go out for 10 days, and they will make a decision in terms of, do we keep you, or is that how it works?
Yeah, so obviously they're giving me 10 days, so that after like a couple of days, if I'm that bad, they could, say it's not for us kind of thing. Or if I'm that good, I'm gonna give them a deal, maybe a 2-year deal, But you know what, in terms of what kind of step it would be, this would be the biggest step I've ever made in my career. As I said, my first professional contract. If I go out to Sweden and I sign and it didn't work out, one thing that I can always hold and take to my grave is that I was a professional footballer.
Yeah.
No matter what. But as I said, the level of football, it's a massive step up, a huge stride forward from playing non-league in England, and even from playing academy in England to going to play professional football in another country in a second tier. It's huge. It's huge, and yeah, man, like I'm kind of anxious, but I'm excited as well, because as I said, I've been preparing for something I didn't know I was preparing for, but now obviously I know why I was preparing.
Yeah.
And this is why you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent, because if I wasn't consistent, this opportunity would have came and I wouldn't have been ready. But I feel that I'm ready. So yeah.
And the thing is, it's a win-win situation, because you go out there, leaving your surroundings for, up to 10 days.
Yeah.
It's an experience that you can take back and, you'll learn.
100.
The bonus is you'll get that call and say, look, I want him, you're signing. So either way, you're moving in the next stage of your journey.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, as you said, if I go out there and don't get signed, I'm seeing it as a free holiday for starters, even though it's called free holiday, but I'm going over to a different type of football. I've never played football abroad. I've never had that different style of coaching. So there could be little things that I can pick up and bring back here and make me a better player over here.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. And as you said, if I get signed, it's a bonus, and I believe it will get signed. So I'm gonna say when they get signed.
Yeah, we'll speak it into existence. I'm a strong believer of speaking it into existence.
So yeah, when they get signed, it's a new language, which is another tool them about. It's a new culture. It's gonna be new foods and different type of people. All these things. And it's a big step, but it's a fresh start, man.
Yeah,
and it's a fresh start. And someone said to me, it's a huge chance to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
If I'm playing professional football and I'm vlogging it as well.
Yeah.
In a second tier in Sweden, I could just keep shooting and climbing, but I'm not there yet, so I don't want to speak about it too much. But when it does happen, it's going to be a test of my character again, because it'd be easy for me to just relax then. I'm a professional footballer.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the work I've been putting in to get there, or I'm going to work harder and go to the next level, and that's when I'm going to really find out about myself, to really find out I've learned from those mistakes I've made in the past, man.
Well, I can see that there's a part 2 to this conversation.
Definitely.
And probably a part 3, 4 and 5, because I'll be calling you back up to talk about the next stages of what's going on with your digging in the trenches and so forth. Listen, as I said on the phone to you, I'm praying for you. All the time I'm praying for you. I believe something will happen, because I can see the journey. When I didn't see a few episodes, I was like, oh, what is going on here?
Yeah, man.
Is this a remake of history? But I'm glad I phoned you and you explained why. So
I want to upload, but at the same time, this is where I'm different. How I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a footballer. So football comes first, so there's like we spoke about etiquette. There's different types of etiquette in football, It's like I'd never. So let's say I'm on trial, I usually vlog day to day. So let's say I'm on trial, I'm not gonna show you the day to day. I might, record it all one time, and then when I've come back from Sweden, show you all then.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that I'm not gonna speak about before it's actually happened.
Yeah.
And I could make myself look silly because I could speak about it, and then it don't happen, and then so I'm just I've just kind of took a step back from YouTube just for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm prepared and ready to go, but
Yeah.
I just took a step back and. But I haven't forgotten about it, because it's got me to where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to continue to keep doing it. But as I said, I'm a footballer first before a YouTuber.
Well, Mr. Abs in goals, or Abs the goalkeeper, or other names I won't say now. Well, yeah, thank you for coming up anyway. I know this is, I know you're a busy person. And you're moving up and down and training, so thank you for coming up.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was definitely an enlightening conversation for me, getting a deeper understanding of the ups and downs and some of the trials and tribulations, which has made you the person you are today.
Correct.
And you're taking all that learning and bringing it now into the next chapter of your life. So thanks for coming up.
No problem, man.
Peace out. Until our next episode, and safe travels as well.
Yeah, well, man, I will. Peace,
Cool.
man, peace.